Congressman Andy Biggs, Republican from Arizona, was part of the group. He joins us now live with a first-hand account of what he saw. Congressman, we spoke to you before from your first trip to the border, among many actually, but you went most recently. What were your takeaways from this trip?
That I was at, there's two important takeaways. Number one, you still have hundreds and hundreds of unaccompanied children that are being housed and held for up to 24 days, and then they're moving them out rather quickly from there, and they just have a quick turnover there. But there's still hundreds of these unaccompanied minors. And then the second is that while we're focusing on Rio Grande Valley, where things are really a lot of family units coming in, we're having a lot of military-age young men dressed in camouflage. These are the really bad actors that are going through the New Mexico border and the Tucson sector in southeast Arizona. And that's what we observed. We talked with ranchers and businesses and residents all along the border there. And that's the two big takeaways there. In other words, it's not improving because no policies have changed. And in one sector, you're getting family units. And in these other two sectors that I mentioned, you're getting a lot of individuals who are actually bringing drugs across. They don't want to be caught, and they're actually committing vandalism and violence in these areas.
You mentioned these crimes that you're concerned about, also that nothing has changed since we really last spoke, and we know that there was a record surge in migrants for the month of March, of course expected to continue in that trend. The meantime, though, Vice President Kamala Harris announcing that she will travel to Mexico and Guatemala as part of her efforts to address the situation at the border. But here's what she said about visiting the U.S.-Mexico border specifically. Watch this.
As I mentioned to the experts, the president has asked Secretary Mayorkas to address what is going on at the border, and he has been working very hard at that and is showing some progress.
Doesn't appear that she plans to go to the border, at least not now. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's an indication that they don't really understand the gravity of the situation yet. This notion of going to Guatemala, which, by the way, was just announced yesterday, that there is no agreement with Guatemala, even though the administration said that they had reached an agreement to try to halt people along the Guatemala border. There is no agreement, apparently. But the fact that you won't even go to this border to see it, it tells me a couple of things. Number one, they don't want the optics of the vice president going in and being confronted with really how grave this situation is. They simply don't want that. They would rather her be off somewhere else and let some underling like Secretary Mayorkas take over. But Mayorkas has done nothing because the policies haven't changed. The policies are rife with incentives to come to this country illegally. You have people who are coming in, surrendering. With 8 hours, they're moved into a non-government organization, and that organization within 24 hours is going to have them to wherever they want to be in the United States. So the incentives remain strong to come to this country illegally, and that's because they won't change the policies.
As you say, if the vice president heads to the border, you know the cameras would follow, and then, of course, the American public would be made aware of what's really happening there. We appreciate you at least telling us what you're seeing. That's some insight there. That's Congressman Andy Biggs joining us live. Congressman, thanks as always.
Thank you.